Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Docker. It helps us to create, deploy and run applications by using containers. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Docker will be absolutely clear to you.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best and start today.
First question is, what is Docker? Okay, this is the first question. What is Docker? So I think some of you have worked with it already. So, and also it will be good if you can have this interactive session, not like I'm telling you and you keep hearing me all that day. So can you tell me what do you think? What is a Docker? What is a Docker? Help me. What is a Docker? Anyone?
So Docker
Guys,
is
are you
like, hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you.
Docker is like lightweight machine. So we can push all our application specific whatever thing is recorded, we can push inside the container.
Anything else? Anyone?
So what are the differences?
Yeah. So, sir, your voice is breaking. I don't know whether it's a problem for my side or for your side. Anyone else would like to tell me whether it's from my side or his side problem?
From his side.
Hear your voice properly, so maybe.
Okay. So, anyone has a definition of Docker? Please see one more thing here. Knowledge sharing. Remember knowledge sharing? I did discuss about this sharing the knowledge. So, do not hesitate. Even though if you're wrong, even I'm wrong actually. So, it's not like I know everything. Just whatever you know, just share that knowledge. And the moment you share the knowledge, you become a google.com. You know, it's like everything you can find in the google.com. Start sharing the knowledge, whatever you know. You don't have to know everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Robin here. So,
Yeah.
my understanding about Docker is it's basically it facilitates the management of container-based applications. So, if we are developing
Right.
applications and deploying it as in the container-based models, then the management becomes easier if we are using Docker for it.
Yeah, right. Wonderful definition. So you have a very right definition. So basically, Docker is a platform. Understand? Platform. Okay. Something like such as VMware. Okay, you know that. Such as VirtualBox. Okay, so platform. Okay, such as VirtualBox. But for what? For containers. Okay, so platform. So basically, it's a containers management tool, whereas VMware and VirtualBox, this is for VMs. Now there's a difference between VMs and containers. So VMs, I think, is a pretty old technology. It's been there from last 20 years. So you know that. I don't want to cover this topic right now. But here the question is popping in my mind now. Okay, fine. It's a container management tool. It is a platform. Is a platform for containers. So it's a container management tool. But the question is again, what is container? So anyone would help me now? Anyone would help me? What is container? So what is a container? What do you think? Guys, anyone has an idea?
It's an image which contains the build as well as some of the operating system files.
It's the image. Okay. Not 100% sure. I mean, not 100% true. But yeah, tell me something else also. But you are partially correct, by the way. Yeah, tell me. What is a container?
A container is an image which basically runs on VM, and it contains the build as well as some configurations.
You said VM, right? VM?
Yeah, on VM. Yeah, it runs on VM. This image.
Okay. Anyone else has the definition? Okay. So I'll share with you my perspective. Okay. Again, you may study in Google also. So everyone has their own perspective. So typically, my perspective I build depends on the learnings what I have with a Docker. So it might not word to word matching with the text which is available in Google, but probably you can help me out also in that case. Okay, so what is container? So in order to understand the container, first forget about the container, leave the containers, Docker, everything, forget about everything. Just think about how you can run application. Think about it. Applications, any application. How can you run? That means Aka, the question says, what are the components in system? I said system, remember system, which required to run any applications. Again, same question, but I put it in a different way. What are the components in the system which require run to any applications? So now, same time, which are the components in the system which required to access any applications? Okay, this is the two questions I'm asking you. So so now the question is, again, I'm requesting you all to forget about the containers, forget about the Docker. Let's forget about everything. Let's go into the semester one topic, semester one of our engineering colleges, right? So I'm getting into that phase. Okay, so what are the components in the system which required to run any application? What are the components in system which required to access any applications? So now if I look at it, my system, look at this here. We have in a system, think about it, we have an operating system, right? Operating system, correct? Now operating system has what? Can you please tell me? Operating system has what, guys? Operating system, when I say operating system, has what? What is operating system?
Kernel, like
Okay, wonderful. So we have a kernel, and then what we have? Kernel. Okay, after that,
Drivers,
driver,
hardware drivers.
so we have a kernel, right? Something else we have in kernel? Yes, operating system has kernel. What else? I think you know that. Some of you might be also knowing that, because it's a S1 topic which we study, we clear also.
An
I did
interface,
cheating, by the way. Huh?
an interface to take set of commands from user.
Yeah, so operating system, you have a kernel. Okay, that's one thing. And second thing, which we have a C groups. Okay, C groups. Okay, and third thing, we have a capability. Now I think I should give you the official perspective also. So let's Google it, kernel, C groups, capabilities, all this thing, enter. And this is the right, I do lots of spelling mistake, by the way, don't mind. So here I go to the images and see here, and look at this. Okay, so not one image is complete, but you can make out this here. You have a Linux kernel which has a namespace, right? You see here. How can I open this image alone? It's not a full image which I'm trying to address, but still I have some comfort. So here, oh, this is not good image. Can I click? Yeah. So I click, and it says 404 error. Okay. Look at this here. I'm opening another image. And opening with, this is a good image, right? So what we have kernel, look at this here. Kernel, we have a namespace, correct? And we have C groups, correct now? And we have a security, correct? Correct now? So you have a namespace, C group, security. That's a wonderful image. Actually, I'm lucky I got this image. And then we have a storage also. Now, networking also. Okay, so this is your kernel, any kernel. Okay, so in operating system, you have a kernel, C groups, security. Okay, operating system kernel, C group, security, and storage is there. Okay, and storage, and then networking, right? Networking, correct now? This is the networking. Okay, I didn't wanted to go into the so much of detail, but I got an image, so let's discuss about it. Now here kernel, what is a kernel? So here kernel has again few components. Some of the components I'll talk about, not everything, because I'm not teaching you architecture. I'll just talk about the PID, MNT, and the network. Okay, only three things: PID, MNT, network. Okay, so here I talk PID, MNT, network. Now let me tell you what is a PID. PID is a process ID, process map. PID means process map. So do you know the process map? What is the process map? It's a map, process map. So what is the process? This create PID initiate. Okay, initiates one P map. So what is a process map? I think all of you are comfortable with the Linux operating system. All of you, guys. All of you are comfortable with the operating. Yes, wonderful. So tell me one thing. Which is the mother of all processes in operating system, Linux or Windows or anything, Windows or Linux, anything? Mother of all.
PID1.
Can we call it PID 0? See, everything we say no, universe has come from nothing, so it's like this. So everything has come from 0, correct now? Okay, now 0. Do we have any machines which I can show you also quickly, so you will have everything fixed actually. So let me start one machine quickly. So if I discuss and keep showing you, probably it will be permanent locked for you in the mind. So that way. Okay, so here this is the one of the machine on AWS. I got it. Just a second. So I'll go for the lesser configuration. Why to waste money? Okay. Okay, so now that's cool. Initiate a PMAP. Now what is a PMAP? You must be knowing about this, but what is a MNT? So MNT initialize actually, initialize one pmap, int slice one mount, and initialize one network. So I'll explain you everything. Just give me few seconds. This is a machine which is accessible. Now I'll show you this. See that here. I go to the my machine. Windows I cannot show you because Windows many things is encapsulated format for make it user friendly. That is a problem. In Linux it's not the case. So but behavior will same. Remember Linux or Linux almost same conceptually. Okay, Linux or Windows. Okay, so now I'll explain you here what is a pmap. So here this is my operating system. I'll become a root. Okay, now here see that. So this pmap pmap means, see, we got a PID is a namespace. Okay, this is called namespace. I'll write it here so you'll also understand when you refer these notes in the future. So here namespace, which is a PID, Menti, and network. So here PID is doing what? Initiate one pmap. So what is one pmap? So here you see here, if I see ps-eaf, see so many processes are there, but you see here 0 has come from 0. I mean 1 has come from the 0. Look at this. That means everyone has come from which process? 0. This is called one pmap. So here when you say one pmap, that means it's 0, from then 1 is your kernel, this is your kernel. Okay, and then loaded this something get loaded here also. This is the family, this get a map, you see is a map. Okay, that's the reason we call it process map. This is a 0, 1, 2, 50, 30, 20, like this. It keep creating those numbers. So you see that if you correlate, every process has come from this 0 only, everything. So mother of everything is like a 0. So that means when you create a this is how many process map you have? 1, means 1 0 is there, right? So here that's the reason here I said one pmap. So when you initialize the kernel, you get a one pmap. Okay, and this is the pmap, you got it. Okay, now next one is mnt. What is a mnt? So mnt is basically mount. Okay, mnt is basically mount. Mnt means there's a three things. Understand that, very simple way I'm telling you. First thing, boot file system. Okay, boot file system means, see that this mount PID will come. Let me put it up this way. This I'll keep it down so you'll understand this. So here mnt means these are the files which you see that. Okay, so mnt is divided into boot file system, okay, plus root file system, plus user file system, plus application file system. Now the question is, let's understand complete way. What is a file system first of all? Okay, so here if you click on this file system and Google, I'll put it up, Google file system. Okay, look at this here. You yourself decide what is a file system. So see here, this is the one, you see that this is the file system which you can see. This is the left file. See here, this is a good image here. So many file system. So here you see this is the file system. Now, so when I say boot file system, so what is the boot file system? bootfs. See here, this is the boot file system. Do we have somewhere image, good image? So I'm just trying to find out what is a boot file system. See here, I think this image will help me. See here. Okay, look at this here. So if you see here this image, look at it very carefully. Only this one. Okay, this is the boot file system and this is the root file system, kernel layer. Okay, so here what is this? Basically here you call it boot file system, means which enable the boot. Okay, so in boot all this file system comes which required to be loaded in an operating system. So when you run any operating system, that get loaded. Okay, that get loaded. Now boot file system such as Boot file system means such as PID, network, libraries, all these libraries plus libraries, all these libraries come from the boot file system. Okay, now what is a root file system? Root file system, I think you experience. You here I say cannot see. You cannot see here. This you cannot see. But root file system, you see it every day. Let me show you the root file system. Here it is. Have you seen this? Have you seen this file every day? Have you seen this? Open. Have you seen this one? Have you seen this?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this you see, right? Yeah, C drive, D drive, C Windows. So these are called root file system. You can see that root file system means operating system flavor. Operating system flavor. Okay, operating system flavor. Now this flavor is of multiple types. Root file system means multiple times means you have Ubuntu flavor, Red Hat flavor, CentOS flavor, Fedora flavor, Windows flavor, Windows 10, Windows 12, Windows 16. These are the root file system which you can see it. Okay, you can see it. Now can see it. Okay, remember this. So boot file system you cannot see that. See, if in Windows, if I go here, this is my whatever I am seeing right now, it's a root file system. C drive, Windows, this is my root file system. This runs your operating system, flavor of operating system. It's a 2010. So like that. Okay, so this is a root file system. Okay, now third one is a user file system. User file. What is the user file system? Let me show you user file system. User file system means this is my user account. I'm in user home, and this is my file system. This is my user file system. Okay, for me, I got a desktop, download, columns, this, that. So many files you have. This is the user file system. Okay, and your user home, whatever you get it, user home Rajesh in Linux also you get a user file system. Okay, so that's the user file system, and then discussed. Okay, and then application file system. What is application file system? Application file system, here you need, let's say, go to the program files or whatever it is. This is the application file system. You see, I don't know what is this Avast software, my antivirus. So this is application file system. These are, though I deleted the Avast, but how come is there? I don't know. Okay, but anyways, it's a Avast file system. It's a Office. You see, this is the application file system. These are the application. So guys, here now you think about it. Okay, you think about it. Mounts means you understand that, right? Mounts means you understand that now. Did you understand this? Right?
Yes.
So here what happens, think about it. In system you have operating system and then kernel, and kernel you have a namespace. Namespace, what kind of namespace? So I'm only discussing about the MNT, PID and network namespaces, though there's one more namespace we needed, and that is user namespace, UTS. Here it's not there, but let's use it. User namespace. Okay, so now these are the namespace, USR actually. These are the namespace. So here these are the namespace. Again, understand that OS has a kernel has a namespace. What is this MNT? This is a basically library. So MNT, when you get, so you tell me how many root file system you see in on operating system? One. How many boot file system? How many root file system you see in operating system? One. How many user files you see that in operating system? User file system? Tell me, guys. Multiple, right? See, Rajesh, multiple users, right? Multiple users can be created, right? Multiple users can be created. And here application file system, conditional, means as many applications you install, conditional, right? Conditional. Okay, so conditional. Okay, so here this is the MNT. Okay, so basically one mount you get it at a boot file system. Let's go into that. How many initialization happen? PMAP, you get one. I just now showed you. This is the 0. So one PMAP is 1 0. Okay, that's simple. How many network you get it in one operating system? How many network you get it? One. For example, let me tell you here. Can I run 2 Apache? Can I run 2 Apache in this operating system on 80 port? Is it possible?
No.
Okay, can I run? So that means how many network you got it? One.
One.
Okay, so one operating system, one network initialized. One means how many? Let's say, can I run two Apache on the PID number 50? Is there any possibility?
No.
No. That means one PMAP. Now, how many users you can create?
Multiple.
How many users? Multiple. Yes. See here, multiple. So when you initiate, okay, initiate users, multiple users, okay, and space. Okay, when I say users, that means, let's say I have got two account. One account is Karan and one other is Rajesh. Okay, so Rajesh and Karan, two accounts you got it, and both are normal user. So can I, as a Rajesh, can I go to the desktop of Karan? Karan, is that possible?
No.
Can Karan come to my desktop, my downloads, my user space?
No.
Can he come? No. So this is the isolation. So here, who's making it possible? User kernel namespace, which is in kernel. So basically, guys, I'm not teaching you anything else, but understand that how this is the question. What are the components in system which required to run any applications? So see here, look at the relationship here. Applications need application file system. Applications runs in the user file system. Application run in the user's space, because see, have you run any application without any user? Do you remember? Do you remember any application you have run without any user? Let's say Apache, you run with Apache, Tomcat, we run with Tomcat, MySQL, you run with MySQL, XYZ, you run with XYZ, right? So you need a one user space. So that way you get the isolation. Think about it. This is important. So here application run required application file system and then user space. Application file system will be there on the root file system. Understand that, root file system. Okay, and root file system and application needs the user space. So user space, the moment you create a user, you get a user file system also. Okay, that's the isolation, you get it. So but we need a user space to run this application. Now application file system, you get it from the and now application file system need a root file system. Think about the relationship, root file system. Now root file system cannot run without a boot file system, and this is your application operating system. See that relationship. So you want to run, let's say, Apache. So for Apache you need Apache files, Apache software, the zip file you download. Then that required the root file system. Root file system means the OPT, etc, this, that, and all. And then that application required one isolation. Okay, so here for isolation they required the user file system again, and then root file system and boot files. Boot file system is the operating system, kernel file system, and then operating system. So guys, did you understand this relationship?
Yes.
So now understand that each operating system, when you boot up, you get a one PMAP, one network, and multiple user space. That's possible, but you use only one. It's required only one user space. For you don't require to run this application, you don't require multiple user space. You require only one. Okay, so requirement is only one. So that way, if you look at this, initiate multiple user space, it's just you can do that, but you have only one. Now the question is, to run applications, what are the components? This is the stuff I'm just telling you. To what are the components in the system which required to run any application? So you required an operating system, one. Okay, an operating system has kernel. Understand that this relationship, kernel has namespace. Which are the namespace I need? I need one mount, one MNT. When I say one MNT means one application file system, one boot file system, one user file system, one root file system, everything. So an MNT I need it. Okay, one MNT of everything, not multiple. Understand that? I need one MNT, and now I need one process map also. So I need to run one process map. Okay, minimum, because that my PID will be running with the 50 PID, whatever it is. So one process map and one network. Oh no, this is and one user space. One user. What user? This is creating isolation. Okay, so to run application in the system, what are the components is required? I need a kernel namespace 111. Okay, here 111, and then there's a next question is, if you want to access the component from outside, then you need one network. Correct now? So here these are the components required in the system. So one application can see, understand that any application, one application. Okay, these are the system requirements. Now if you look at this, what is the C groups? Okay, so C groups basically is giving you, let me write there only. What is the C groups? So C group basically allocating CPU plus RAM to process ID. Yeah, this is a process. Now who's having the process of management? PID, PMAP. Okay, so process ID, each process ID. So if you look at this C groups, one image, you look at this. Let me open up a new C groups and click image, and you see here, look at this. This image is giving RAM and CPU. See here, look at the image, very good image I got, ILAC. See here. So who's doing this? C groups. So see that C groups giving this RAM, CPU, and to the network, and input and output, everything, how much you need. So it's allocation of CPU and RAM mainly. Okay, so this is the C groups. Okay, so C groups is allocating the CPU and RAM. So that means, let's say I'll put it in this way. See here, I'm showing you so much of process, right? So much of process ID. So how come you're getting this ID? So all this process ID, see this, all this process ID is getting the CPU allocation, RAM allocation from the C groups. This all is coming from the C group. See that, look at this, CPU percentage, memory percentage, all these things come from the C groups. So C group is giving the CPU and RAM. So actually, in order to run applications, you need a C groups also. Okay, so you need a C groups also. So here C groups also. Now apart from that, you need this user should be having access, whether what this user can do, so whether it's a root or non-root. So that option, it come from the security. Security has a capability, let me remind you. Security has multiple things. I don't want to confuse the too many things. So security, if you see here, security has a capability. First thing, SCLNX also, SCComp also, but it has a capability mainly. Okay, so capability. Okay, so here capability. So here you require this user should be having the more access, less access, all this thing is like this. So ultimately guys, if I see what are the component in the system you required, see here, I'm putting up in one statement now. What are the components in the system required to run any application? So you need overall this one. So far, did you understand that? Guys, yes. Did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So guys, understand that if any application you want to run, so you need operating system. Operating system has kernel. There's a spelling mistake, by the way. Sorry about that. Operating and kernel has a namespace. C groups capability. So C group namespace. These are the namespace needed. Where is you get one. Here PMAP you get one. Needed actually one, and one. Okay. Now this is the one thing. Okay. Now the question is, what is the definition of PC? What is a PC? Tell me, what is a PC? What is a PC? PC concept. What is a concept of PC, guys? PC. So what is this PC means? Tell me.
Personal computer.
Personal computing. So there's a two keywords, guys. Personal computing. So understand, the computing means, when I say computing, that personal computing means what? You need a RAM, CPU, and operating system, right? These are the operating system I explained you just now properly, and RAM and CPU, which is from the C groups. Okay, so now these are the things. Now personal means mind.
Isolation.
Mind. Correct? Personal in mind. So here you see these are the PCs, and you are using right now every day and night. I don't. You must be laughing like why I'm asking this question actually. So yeah, this is a PC, right? This is nothing new PC, but the question is, PC means personal computing. Personal computing means, personal means mind, means human, for human. So here understand that question is, where are you running? Where are you running? Where are you running application nowadays? Where you are running the application now? Where are you running? Tell me.
On the cloud.
As a service.
Cloud. Can I call it data? Can I call it data centers?
Yes.
Right. So see here, you are running application nowadays in a data center. Not Facebook is running data center, Twitter is running a data center, LinkedIn is running data center, everything is running data center. But architecture based on PC. Yeah. See here, I again repeat this. What are the components in the system which required to run any application? One mount, one PMAP, one user, one network, C groups, and capability. Though you can create a multiple users by the operating system. So so how we are running application in nowadays in data center, but architecture in based on PC. So let me tell you here, guys. See, this architecture means what? What is architecture? Means PC means what? See, there's a operating system company which is called Microsoft, Unix, Linux. These are the operating system company, right? They say we are creating operating system for PC. Think about it. Operating system for PC. Okay, not for running a data center. Not for running data center. Understand that? They are saying so. So that's the reason they give you only one network. Now, one network. They give you one network, but the question is, network come from where? Network namespace. So they initiate one network. They create you only one process map. Understand that? They create only one network, one mount MNT. But they are allowing you to have a multiple users to be created. Think about it. When you have a PC operating system for PC concept, then they create only one network. They initialize one network, one process map, one mount. But all this come from where? Namespace, which I said, MNT, PID, network. But they are allowing you to create a multiple. Again, users come from where? User namespaces here. Isolation. Okay. So that means why they are allowing you to create a multiple users? Because your family and friends may work in the same machine, but they give you only one network. They think what we will do, PC concept, right? What you will do the multiple network, what you will do the multiple PMAP, what you will do the multiple MNT. That means in a simple way, when I say MNT means what you will do the 2C drive, 2D drive, 2 OPT. What you will do? Nothing. You are the human being. We want to use the PC, personal computing. So this is the problem. So here we are running the data center, but architecture is based on the PC. Now the question you must be having in your mind, what is my problem in this case? What is my problem? Why I'm discussing all this? So discussing all this because of only one reason, guys. You only find out. MS Paint. See here. Instead of drawing picture, let me show you my computer. This is my PC. Task manager. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I'm having utilization of 90%. Okay. But when you run a data center, typically your utilization is 30%. Okay, 30%. Real physical machines, PHI physical machines, utilization is 20% or 30%. Why 30%? So let me ask you one thing. I will ask you this. You have 100 people, 1,000 people traffic, 1,000 people is coming in your app every day, people daily. Okay, now midnight 2 o'clock 2 a.m. you have a least network. That means you have let's say only 10% of uses, and 2 p.m. you have a 90% of uses. Think about it, uses. Okay, so if you set up a server, okay, if you set up a server, you will go for that only matching the requirement for 10% or 20%, 90%. Tell me, you need a CPU for 90% or 10%?
Set.
You will set up a machine for having a consideration of 90% or 10%?
90.
90.
90.
90. Correct now. So here average utilization is 30%. Let's say 30%. Think about it. So means waste in one machine 70%, multiplied by I am running 1,000 machines. Just imagine what is the wastage. Just imagine in data center, what is the wastage? That means 70% on an average per day you are wasting. That means, see here, what is the goal in the DevOps? Think about it again, back to the same topic. Cost reduction. For what? I told you, cost reduction for the development and running cost. You are so high. Now the question is, are you paying for the applications? Let's not talk about anything else but this one. What do you say? Google. Have you paid for the Google? Any Google searches, Gmail, photos, this, that, and all? Have you paid for that anywhere? Or watching YouTube videos and all? Have you paid for the YouTube
No.
videos watching?
No.
Not
So if
really.
you have not paid, so how do they make money? How do they make money? Let's say YouTube. I think, but
Based
what's
on
more
viewers.
based on the view? No, it's not true. Even I used to think in that way. So what is not true? I have a channel
Subscribe.
actually. No. No subscribe, no view. Okay. So
Ads.
how?
Ad.
No, but not only displaying that. When YouTube will make money, you know one thing. YouTube will make money when you click on ad. That's the unfortunate thing. I have a channel also, but I'm not making any money. Why? People, I mean, the YouTube will make money when you click on ad. Now you tell me how many times you click on the ad more than 30 seconds? Sorry, no, more than 10 seconds? 5 seconds? Sorry, 5 seconds. YouTube 5 seconds. Yeah, more than 5 seconds. What do you do typically on YouTube? You tell me.
Skip ad. You do skip ads.
Yeah, you know that the moment you click on a skip ad, that means those ad is becoming free of cost for the YouTube. I mean publishers. That means they publishers is not being charged for 5 seconds. If you continue watching this app more than 5 seconds, then only the YouTube will get charge the money to the publishers, and YouTube will make money, and then that money YouTube will share with the content creator, that means channels guys, and will keep it some money with themselves. So see here, on an average, you know the CPC rate is, you need 1,000 people visiting your website, out of which how many people are clicking on the ads? You know, 1. You just think about it. 1 in YouTube. That's a true story. That's a true, because I have a real experience with this. Okay, that means if I get 1,000 view, only one person will click on the ads, and that ad will generate some revenue for the YouTube, and that money, whatever he gets, it will be shared between the two person, creator and platform provider. That means YouTube. Okay, so this is how it happens. So look at this. You only look at this here. You have to run application for 1,000 people, but actually your client is only one. So what do you need here? See here, what do you need here? What do you need here?
Savings in operating cost.
Yeah, running cost, right? Running cost, application running cost. So reduce your running cost. What you need here? You need, organization wants to reduce. What you need? Organization wants to reduce.
Please enroll for our channel membership $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Software running cost. Okay, running cost. So now when they look at this, understand that every answer is hidden in the whatever I explain you in the initial start. So see here, when they look at this here, they have a hardware. Think about it, and you know this technology very well. You've been working from last 15 years. This is the hardware, okay? And then top of that, there is a kernel, and kernel has namespace, C groups, capability, all this thing I discussed. On top of that, you have a hypervisor. And hypervisor means like a VMware VirtualBox and all. On top of hypervisor, they create a VM, virtual machines. 1 machines, 2 machine, 3 machines. And the VM itself, you have operating system. And the moment you get operating system, you get a kernel also. Remember, operating system. Now, at the large scale, don't think you are your laptop. Think about the large scale. They create only one user, and then they run application Apache. Okay, so Apache, and when they create here, so you get one. See here, one MNT, which is here. Look at this here. Go for here. Look at this. Okay, so here they create one MNT, one PMAP, one network, and one user space. Okay, so this is a 1, 1, 1, 1. Sorry, I'm very bad in drawing like this. Okay, same goes with this 1, 1, 1, and they create one user, run Apache. They create one user, run Apache, one network, one mount, one PMAP. So now here they run this Apache, because see, network is there, no, network is there, mount is there, and PMAP is there. So this, they run this Apache on the 50 PID, here 50 PID, here 50 PID. They run on 80 port, 80, because network is there, no, one network, here again one network, so 80 port, 80 port. Here they run OPT Apache, OPT Apache, OPT Apache. So it's a complete isolation, complete isolation. Are you getting my points? And this is the operating system, provide all the namespace again. Correct now? Did you understand this virtual model? Correct now?
Yes.
Everyone is getting points? How this application is being run?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct? So think about it. Yes. So here they migrated from the physical machine, physical server, okay, to virtual server over the period, virtual server. And at that time, you know what, we were on the internet, verge of the internet based applications. See here, I did discuss somewhere here, internet got started. Earlier we were using internet, now we are living on the internet. See, living means, see, earlier we were doing sign in, sign out. Now we are not doing sign out ever. We are having devices, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you know, YouTube connected, notification is running, everything is, session is activated, everything download, upload going on, everything, and without any problem. So now think about it. you think, okay, what is my problem? I'm downloading, uploading. What is your problem? I'm getting internet. But for the application provider, those who's running application, they need more CPU to hold their sessions. They need a more RAM to hold your sessions. They need a more storage for keep your data. Like you upload a hell lot of videos, hell lot of images, and you don't pay for it. So now how would they reduce the further cost? Because earlier we were using the internet based applications. Now we are living on the internet and we are not paying for it. We are not paying for it. So how would they further reduce the cost of applications? Think about it. Tell me. Think about it. Do you have any idea? What can we do? This is the virtualization. So do you have any idea? How would they reduce further?
That is where the container comes into the picture.
How would they? Yeah, but which way?
To minimize
Many
the,
res-
So see the
Go
find
ahead.
out the wastage. What is the waste? What is the wastage in this
Here,
model?
the operating system.
See,
No,
see how many see, think about it. There is a one application, two application, three applications, two and three. To run the three applications, how many you need a mount PMAP? Three. How many network you need? Three. How many what is this PMAP you need? Network and MNT. This is MNT, right? And so how many for three application you need a three PMAP, three network, three mounts, and three user space, three isolation. Yeah, three users. Correct. But you tell me what is the wastage? Look at this here. Here you have one operating system, two operating system, three operating system, and four operating system. And heavy. This is the heavy H. This is the heavy. So one operating system, two operating system, three operating system, and this one is heavy. Sorry, this one is heavy. So actually you are using running application Apache, and for that you have a overweight. So here you need to pay. See, operating system also consumes CPU, RAM, storage, and licensing cost. Don't you think so? Operating system also consumes CPU, RAM, storage, and licensing cost. To run three application, you are running four. To run three application in this image, you are running four operating system. So can we do innovation? Can we do innovation? So again, go back to these questions. What are the components needed to run applications? So I need one mount, one PMAP, one user, one network, C groups, capability. I need these one. But from these come from where? These come from the kernel. Where is the kernel? Kernel is here also, here also, here also, here also. So why do we have this? Why do we have this? Why do we have this? Can we have it everything at this level only? Let's recreate this image freshly. Think about it. Okay, so think about it. So this is a hardware and this is your kernel. Guys, when I say kernel means operating system. Okay, and when I say operating system, please mind it, I am saying this one, whole things. Okay, understand that. So here operating system. Now operating system by decide how many mounts it initiate mounts. Guys, how many mounts you initiate?
one.
Means one C drive, one D drive, one OPT, like that. How many process map it create?
One.
How many network it initiate?
One.
So here let me write it, as else I'll forget. Process map. Okay. Network. And what was the last? I forgot about.
MNT.
Yeah, MNT. Correct. Huh? Now, how many users you are allowed to create? You are allowed. I said allowed to create.
Multiple.
See here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3 users I create. I can create as many. Do you know the number of users you can create in on operating system?
N number of
Not really.
users.
Correct. There is no n. How much time it takes to create one user?
Milliseconds.
Yeah, you know that. So you have that answer. Okay. So now, can I do one thing? Can I run Apache here? Okay, think about it. And Apache should run on the 80 port. Can I run Apache here 80 port?
Yes.
Think about it. Can I run Apache again on 80 port on the other user?
No.
No.
The single
Why?
network.
Why?
No.
Only one network
Yeah.
is there, no? Yeah.
Right.
So here
Yes.
I cannot run Apache 80 port, correct? No. No. Can I run? See here I run Apache on the 50 PID. Can I run 50 PID here also?
No. No.
Why?
No. It's a one process map.
Single
process
PMAP.
map. Yes, wonderful. Yeah, single PMAP. So here you cannot run PID 50. Can I access 80 port and see OPT Apache? Here I write, and if I can write OPT Apache, I can write the file, but it will be integrity will be compromised, right? So can I have a
Yes.
OPT Apache without compromising the integrity? No.
No.
OPT Apache? No. Okay. So guys, why we have no? Because 1, 1, 1. Simple. Now go back to the again basics. What are the components in the system which required to run any application? One mount, one person, one user, one network, C groups, capability. So now C groups you have here, capability you have here. Understand that? And kernel namespaces you have here. Because of this kernel namespace, you get it 1, all this thing. Now, see here. If I change, think about it, guys. If I change to 80 to 81, and if I change to 80 to 81 port number, sorry, 82, can I run now? And here,
Yes.
if I
Yes.
change the PID number 51 and PID number 51, and here OPT Apache 1, Apache, here OPT Apache 2, here it should be 52, sorry, 52, Apache 2. Sorry, I'm not writing just try to understand. Is it possible now? Can I run the 3 Apache?
Yes.
Change the port number?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Now it can run. But tell me drawbacks in this. I can run, but tell me drawbacks in this. Tell me drawbacks.
Resource sharing.
No. Data center. You're running in the data center 3 Apache in one machine, one hardware, one physical machine. It can be one physical machine, one hardware also, one physical machine on virtual machines also. So tell me.
Manual checking for configuration. You'll have to manually
that?
check what you'll have to check na ki which port you will have to give to which Apache server.
Why should I check? You tell me. I'm running. I'll get crazy if you ask me if I'm your engineer working for data center, and if you tell me, okay, do one thing. I'm running the Apache in 1000 machine, and you have to go and check the port and this that and all. I'll get crazy. I'll say, sir, this is my resignation. So is there any way? What is the drawbacks in this model? You can run, see, still in your laptop you can run 3 Apache. Change the port, change the PID, automatically it will change the PID number, and change the OPT Apache 1, A2, 2, 3 and something. But what's the drawback? Think about it in terms of data center. Big
Ease of operation and inconsistent manage.
That's those there. But one of the major drawbacks of this, guys, you will not be able to access these applications. That is a major drawback. Why you think about it? Why we run application in data center? Why we want to access it? Our user want to access it. So how you access 3 Apache? So it has to be load balancer has to happen, bro. Think about it. So you tell me, I will hit the load balancer. Load balancer will redirect based on the what rule? You tell me.
Context or based on the port?
So port has to be, host has to be, no, port has to be load balancer rules.
Port has to be
Security
same.
group. It's
No. You know that. I know that the answer. You know that. Load balancer, how it works?
It has to be on the same.
How load? Tell me. You are coming to that point. What is it? Should be same what?
Port should be same, and then load balancer will redirect to the different Apaches.
Correct. You said correct. Load balancer, IP address can be different, but port should be same. So tell me, if I am listening on the 80 port, how many Apache I can read it?
Only one.
Currently one.
Only one. So that means this got become waste. This become waste.
yes.
I can run. I cannot use. Why? Because we all hit the load balancer. We can't remember thousands of Apaches running. I can't remember thousands of IP address. I need a load balancer. Though we don't need a load balancer, we need a DNS name. But I'm not complicating too much. Let's keep the load balancer simple way. Okay, so you need a load balancer. Load balancer works on the same port, different IP address. You know that very well. Now the question is, how can we get the different IP address? Because you have to run multiple network. But in a one compute unit, you get only one compute unit. It can be physical machine or virtual machine. You get only one network. You get only one network. Don't think too much of customization. I'm thinking about the large data center level. You don't have a way to customize it. It should be pattern wise. It should not be like okay, you do whatever you want to do that in stuff like that. So you can't do in the data center when you're running thousands of applications. You need a consistent behavior. You can't say server 1 this is the one, server 2 this is the one. You can't do the customization so much. You don't have a capacity, you don't have a cost, you don't have a money for that. Are you getting my points here? Are you getting my points here, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Now let's look at this here, another perspective of this. So this is the operating system. So can I do one thing? Think about it. Very simple. Think about it. I'll prepare one new image, so it will be good for me actually. So here, this is your hardware layer. Okay, and then you have a kernel, hardware layer, kernel. When I say kernel means operating system, and here you have one network. Here you have a one amount. Here you have a one
PMAP.
Okay, now guys, PMAP come from the kernel, mount come from the kernel, network come from the kernel. Now here there is a user got created. There's a user got created here. So this is a user space. Okay, this is a user. This is also come from the kernel. I told you very clearly, guys, please do not forget this one. Okay, so mount, PMAP, user and network. Now think about it. Can we ask Microsoft or Linux, sir, can you create more, can you initialize more network? Can we create a more network? Can we initialize 2 C drive or 2 OPT? Can we create a 2 process map, 2.0?
No.
So Microsoft said no. Linux said no. Every Mac says no. By the way, Mac is based on the Linux only. Okay, Nix only. So understand that. So Microsoft said no. Why he said no? How dare he said no? Because these guys said, listen, I create an operating system for PC, personal computing. I create a compute unit for operating system for the human being, not for running data center. Understand that. This operating system is existed, the concept of operating system existed from last 70, 80 years. We create operating system for human being. to operate compute device, not for running data center. Data center concept has come in last few years only. Data center concept has come in the last few years only with the evolution of internet. So at that time, when I designed this architect, Microsoft says, or Linux and Unix guys said, when I designed this architect, I was not thinking about the running data center. I was thinking about creating a compute unit for the creating an interface between the human and compute machine. So that is not good. Then there is a one guy who said, his name is Solomon Hykes. Okay, this guy said, no problem. No problem. This guy. Okay, this guy said, no problem. You will not do that. I understand your problem. I will do that. I will do that. So he said, no problem. I know that you have all the library which is in kernel, and I clearly stated, guys, what is there you have in the kernel. See that, don't never forget this stuff. You have everything. If you can't do that, no problem. I will do that. So what I will do that, I will take your properties, your libraries, your namespaces, and I will initiate. So here on top of that, there is a one tool he developed. Think about it. There's one tool he developed. Okay, and that tool will directly talk to the kernel. Directly. Okay, directly talk to the kernel. And this tool will directly, nothing else. He'll directly talk to the kernel. And he said, no problem. I will create one user. Okay. And that user, I will assign one MNT. I'll change the color so it will be good. That user, I'll assign one MNT. MNT means root file system. Understand that, root file system. Again, see here, when I say MNT, where is that? MNT means from here, root file system, because boot file system, which is hidden in the kernel here, remember. Here not is a kernel, it's a MNT root file system. And then process map on our network. I will create one more user and I'll assign his also process map, MNT process map and network. I'll create one more user. So this is the user. One more mount, process map and network. So here user one, this was a user one, this is a user two, this is user three, this is user four. But understand that 2, 3, 4 is managed by this. One is managed by this. Okay, understand that at a high level. Look at this here. So what is this tool? He called it Docker. So guys, now the question is, what is container? Question back to the question 2, the same questions. What is a container? So what is container? Tell me.
Container is a file which manages the network and multiple namespaces.
Namespaces are here, sir. One instance of namespace. What is a container? What is a container?
A sort of isolated environment that is created through Docker.
Yeah, let's now say that, guys, this is the answer. What is a container? So guys, container is a isolated, when I say user, it's become isolated actually automatically. Think about it. The moment I say user, it's become isolated. You know that. You cannot go into mine, I cannot go into yours. So user space. Now this space is come from where? This user space comes from where? Kernel user namespace. I told you, right? This is the user space, right? So here container is nothing but a, where is that? It's a container is user space, isolated, has their own mount, has their own network, own network has their own
PMAP.
what is that? PMAP. Yeah, PMAP. So that way, think about it. Now you see that here you want to run Apache. Think about it. Apache, then it can run 80 port because of PMAP is there. Here also it can run 80 port because PMAP is there. Here it can write in a C Apache, OPT Apache because mount is there, and it can run on the 50 PID because PMAP is there. So here 80 port, 80 port, 80 port, 50 PID, 50 PID, 50 PID, and what is that next one? OPT Apache, OPT Apache, OPT Apache without integrating compromise. All this is doing Docker with the help of kernel namespaces. So now operating system has no problem with this because they are not compromising the compute unit. Now see here, this user is a unlucky user. This user is shared their process map mount network. This user has their own mount process map network. Let me tell you who's unlucky, who's not lucky. You are unlucky. I am unlucky. Why? Because I am Rajesh is sharing the resources mount process map and PMAP, okay, process map and network with all of my user, but these users are having their own resources. Are you getting my points? So in fact, in this way, you are also container. I am also container. We all are container, but we container is managed by the operating system directly, but this container is managed by Docker with the help of the network namespaces in the kernel. Are you getting my points here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is container? So guys, container is a user space, has their own amount network process PMAP, and with the help of Docker, managed by Docker take this capability. Docker takes this capability from kernel namespace for compute, for CPU, C groups, for access capability. This means which, see, when I say so access, that means this user should be root user or non-root user. Who decides? Capability, okay, which is there in the kernel.
Security.
Okay, yeah, security. I showed you. You can read more about it. It's a very good topic, guys. Very good topic. See here, this is a good image. See the security. You should go capability, SE-LANX, SecComs, and in networking. You have namespace. You have C groups. You have. This is a good image, but we don't have a time. You have to go back to other topics. So yes. So this is the container. Okay. Now mount. I want to tell you. Mount means here their own mounts means what you see. I told you very clearly. When I say operating system and when I say mount, that means you get a boot file system, root file system, user file system, application file system. But when I say mount here, you do not get a boot file system. You get only root file system, user file system, application file system. Look at this image once again. See, root file system is here. Sorry, boot file system is here. You get a root file system like OPT, user file system, and application file system. Are you getting my points? Guys, are you getting my points?
Yeah.
That means when you log into containers, you will experience as if like you are experiencing your your physical normal user compute unit. Let's say if you go inside a VM, what do you see? Desktop, and then I go to C drive or OPT. Same way you will experience same way, because you are inside a container. You have a user file system also, root file system also, application file system also, but not boot file system. So this is the one. And also I would tell you guys, this is basically Docker image. So some of you might be knowing. Don't get confused right now, those who are not knowing about this, because some of you said you know Docker, so you know must be knowing the Docker image. So this is basically Docker image. So what exactly they do, that I'll tell you. When you create a container, then they create isolated user space, give one network, and create a one copy of take one copy of your image, mount it to the user. See that, create a user, mount it with the image. Again I repeat, create a user. When you create a container, create a user namespace, mount it with the image. Image has what? This one, with one network, one PMAP, and that is your container. That is your container. So guys, are you able to understand what is a container?
Yes, Rajesh.
So guys, now you tell me, for running 3 applications, how many operating system you need? 3 Apache, how many operating system need? Only one. So you save so much of CPU, so much of RAM, so much of storage, so much of licensing cost. So let's migrate virtual machine to container. And let me tell you how much time it takes to create a user. Tell me.
Seconds.
Second. That means you can run application in second, not seconds, second. See, physical machine, you want to run application, if you want to add it, it will take a day. Virtual machine, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Container, second. 1,000 application you want to run, 1 second. 10,000 application you want to run, 1 second. See that speed, what you get it. So when you save so much of time, can't you use that time for writing a good code, good test cases, good infrastructure coding, and do that stuff? Because you are saving lots of time out of 8 hours, right? I'm saving lots of time. Let's say if I ask you to run XYZ application, you will spend 20 minutes out of 8 hours. Now you're spending only 1 second. So you're saving lots of time. So let's spend that time somewhere. So guys, this is the evolution. So now let me tell you the official keywords also. Container is a lightweight. Why say lightweight? Lightweight. Why we say lightweight? Because this hypervisor is a heavyweight. This hypervisor, which is a running virtual machine, is a heavyweight. Okay, so container is a lightweight application runtime environment. Yes, complete application runtime independent environment powered by Docker. Okay, container is a lightweight. Lightweight means less consume, less CPU, less RAM, less operating system. I mean, no operating system. So someone said, what is a container? So it's a operating system of VMs. Someone said. So don't call it the VMs. It's not a virtual machine. It is a container. What is that? So container is a lightweight application runtime. That means if you want to run this application, just run it. No dependencies needed. No external dependencies needed. And it's independent environment powered by Docker or managed by Docker. You can say managed by Docker. So if you read that, let's read that official keyword also. What is container? So guys, this is the official Docker things. See that what they states. See here, package software. Package software means complete independent runtime environment into standardized unit for development, shipment, and deployment. That is called container. That means this package software. It's complete independent runtime applications which you can. It's a platform. See here, platform. It's a platform. So this container you can ship it. First you run it, ship it, deploy it. Means you want to run in a dev, production, whatever you want to do run, you can run it as it is. So completely independent. That's the reason you can ship it anytime, any given point of the time. So if you see here, see, a container is a standard unit of software. See, software means, see here, I said software means applications, application required user required root file system. So here I said very clearly, what is that? See here, application, user files and root files is a software that package up code, and it's all dependency. See here, your code which is application, and all dependency means user file system, root file system. Okay, so application run quickly means reliably from one computing environment to another computer. That means if you have that image, see that here what happens. If you have that image you can run on any platform. Why? Because in the image you get a root file system, user file system, application file system. That means application plus all of this dependency and compute. You run in any places, any machines, any virtual machine, any physical machine, they will give you a network from Docker. Docker will give you a network, process map, and capabilities like C groups and capability, and you can run anytime. So here, this is the stuff. So now are you able to correlate the definition? Container is a standard unit of software that package up a code and all of its dependencies, so application run quickly and reliably from one compute environment to another. Docker container image is lightweight, standalone, executable package of the software that includes everything needed to run an application code, runtime, software tools, system libraries, and setting. See here, in a simple way, they are putting up everything. That's what I said: root file system, user file system, application file system. Are you understanding this, guys?
Yes.
So guys, this is a Docker, this is a container. Anyone has a confusion, please ask me these questions.
Rajesh, if you don't think if I'm asking too much, can you give me a crisp answer, because I got a bit confused. You're explaining us the stuff related to the Linux stuff, right? I mean, at least the OS stuff. When I could relate it, how you define container, right? I couldn't get a grasp of it. You would say, I mean, I would rather say that I got a bit confused here.
So like anyone else would like to help me?
Load balancer ka image and all, right?
Yeah, no problem. So anyone else would like to help me? So give me some rest. Anyone who can understand can answer his question. Anyone, guys? No one? So no one understood this? What is the container? Guys, you have to tell me something, yes or no.
Yeah, Raj, so we understood, but then the kind of explanation what Karthik is looking for, you can give him a better explanation. Let him ask the question, ask him rephrase it. I mean,
no,
the way
he's saying, I'm not able to understand what is a container in a simple way. Probably we did discuss too much thing. That's agree. I agree. It's an advanced training, guys. That means I have to cover everything. So advanced training, so I have to cover everything. But yeah, probably he has not understood that what is a container. So let me go back a little bit. Let's do the recap. Okay. Think about it. What are the things you need to run applications? So you need one operating system. Inside what you have kernel. Kernel has a namespace. A namespace, that means MNT, PID, network, user. So this namespace is needed to run any application. Important, see here. Component required for running that any applications. Then who will give this CPU allocation, RAM allocation? Does come from the C groups. And how do you get this who's a non-root, root, and stuff like that? So capability. So these are the things needed. So what I did, I consolidated here. In short, components in system I said, which required you to run any application. Any application needs this one. Then we discuss about the PC concept and drawbacks of PC concept. So PC company says I created operating system for human, not for running the data center. But if I look at the data center, there's a huge wastage, and we calculated wastage. You see, if you 30% of wastage multiplied by 1,000 people, I mean 70% of the wastage multiplied by 1,000 machines in virtual machine or physical machine, is too much of wastage. So what we want, reduce the cost for software running. So then someone deep dive into the architecture of how people run application in the virtual machine. So here we saw that it's a 20 years old model, so I'm not explaining you the virtualization right now. I assume you know that. So here, if you look at the virtualization model, look at this. You have a multiple operating system, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3 applications. Each applications, why you create operating system? Because of only one reason. You created operating system because of only one reason, so you can get 1 C groups capability. So because of that, you created operating system. But really, do you need operating system? Then this guy said no. Actually, this guy said no, you don't need an operating system for running application. His name is Solomon Hykes. He said, no boss, we don't need operating system every time to run applications. So what we do that, those libraries there in the kernel only, which required application to run. So let's not create a whole blown operating system. When I say operating system, that required multiple things, which I explained you previously only, this operating system. So you don't need this. So what they said, let me do one thing. This is the first of all lightweight. Docker is lightweight. Hypervisor is heavyweight. Okay. So here you save lots of CPU, lots of RAM. Top of that, how many operating system you have? Only one. In the virtualization model, how many operating system you had? 4. So here you could reduce the running cost. Now the question is, you could reduce so much of CPU and RAM. That's an objective. That's a goal. That's a goal, because the more CPU and RAM you save in a data center, the more you can more RAM, more application you can run, and cheaper way. So that's the goal. So what he did, he wrote one application that's called Docker. Docker directly communicate with the kernel. Okay, and here Docker empowers initiate one mount, one process map, one network for one user space, one prop for this one. So this guys is managed by Docker, but you and me is managed by directly kernel. But we have a drawbacks. We cannot all, let's say one people or more is joining, I cannot run the 2 Apache on 80 port, but this guy can run Apache on 20 port, 80 port. So that is what we wanted to run because of the load balancer concept. Load balancer required the same port to be accessible. So now you tell me, think about it. 80 port is running, 80 port is running, 80 port is running, one IP address, one IP address, one IP address. These 3 will be load balanced by the load balancer. Correct?
Yeah.
So this whole concept is a concept. That's all. Understand that? So it's a whole concept to what? For what? To reduce the CPU and RAM wastage. That's all. Nothing else. So in short, if you read the official definition, please read the. Let me read you this official definition. See, please read that only this line. A container is a standard unit of software. It's a software that package up code and all of its dependency. Think they are repeating actually. See, all of the dependency. So you must be wondering, where is the package? Where is the package? So it's an image. It's an image. So this is your package. Package all of their dependency. That means this is your application. Application need a user file system plus root file system. Root file system is Debian, Fedora, SUSE, HP. All these thing units is a root file system. Okay. Boot file system, you cannot see it. Okay. So all of its dependencies, so the application can run quickly and reliably from the one computer to another. So this image is wherever you have it. From this image, you can run one container. That means the moment you run image, you get one container. Why? Because image, you get everything, environment plus network, process map, C group's capability all come from the kernel, which is there in the each machines. So that is what this guy is also talking about. A Docker container image is a lightweight standalone executable package of software that includes everything, same thing I'm saying, needed to run an applications: code, runtime, system tools, system libraries, and settings. Everything you have in the Docker image. The moment you run image, you get a container. Container is a complete independent of compute unit for that particular applications. So I hope you are getting. I'm not sure about whether you got it or not.
Just looking at the more simpler terms to understand it, Rajesh. I totally agree with the idea of you explaining us the the total stuff, what happens beneath it. Saying like how it helps us in accessing the mount or the network related to it. So when you say what's a container, we do see that stuff coming up, right? So just trying to quote it in more simpler terms. That's it.
I mean, still you are not understood that what is container?
No, now I'm fine.
Okay, I mean, I got confused because to be honest, I was not having any other definition now. So yeah. Okay, fine. So here, this is the Docker, this is the container. So guys, anyone has a doubts, any confusion? No. Okay guys, so now guys, this is written in Golang. Yeah, this tool is written in Golang. Docker is written in Golang. Now this is written by Solomon Hykes. He has left the company Docker in 2018 July, I guess. So Solomon Hykes. Now this has a various release actually. So one is a Docker Community Edition and another is the Enterprise Edition. The one which I'll be teaching you is a Community Edition. Yes, part of the training. Enterprise Edition, no, you don't need it. Okay, you don't need it. Okay, so if you are interested what is the Enterprise Editions and all, you can just spend some time on the Google also, you will get it. But Community Edition, Enterprise Edition, both have the various huge differences. Huge difference. This will help you to run the container. This will help you to run the data center basically. Enterprise will help you to run a data center, but this is just a container. Okay, this is what we needed. So how do we facilitate the Enterprise Edition? How do we get the feature of Enterprise Edition? So I assume you guys will be having Kubernetes for that purpose. Okay, so orchestrations related work, you get a Kubernetes, not a Enterprise Edition. Okay, so this is the one. Now the latest version, I think, if I can recall my memory, I think is 19x or something like that. I need to check one more time. Okay, so this is the Docker. So guys, this is the Docker.
Rajesh, mind if you could take a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So these Community and Enterprise Edition, so do they fit into entirely answering a different problem, or is it like you're telling me that Community and Enterprise, the difference you are explaining, right? So Enterprise, you said that it helps in maintaining data center. I don't get that part.
Yeah, I mean data. So I think you will get it this, because I have not explained you, so of course you won't get it. But if you really want to get it, this what is the meaning of enterprise? So I'll put it in this way: container orchestration. Okay, orchestration. Now when you get a container orchestration requirement, that means you want to run containers not in one host. See here, as per this image, I was running container in one host, but actually you will run containers in the thousands of hosts. So that is not solved by Docker Community Edition. For that you require a Docker Enterprise Edition that include Docker Swarm, Docker DTD, something like that. Many tools are there as part of the enterprises which is needed. But right now we as an organization, we are not focusing on the Enterprise Edition because we are using, for container orchestration, we are using Kubernetes. I think if anyone is from the L&D team, probably he can confirm, because we are probably planning for having Kubernetes, not Docker, not SWAM, not enterprise. Okay.
No. Okay, then maybe if you could get feet cold in getting the terms understood by what you said, then maybe we could correlate it.
Oh, you did not understand?
The way I understood, I see community and enterprise, they solve a different set of problems. Am I right?
Not problem, solution.
I'm
Solving
sorry.
the solution.
My bad. I'm sorry. Solutions.
So here, let me put it some efforts to give you the little bit of orchestration, meaning of orchestration. So see here, right now, this is my one host, correct now? And here you have Docker. Okay, this can manage the container 1, 2, 3, but I don't need 3. I need a 3000 container. So for that, what I will do? I will create a more node. Okay, I'll create a more node, and here also I store Docker. Here Docker, here Docker, here Docker. Now more container. Docker can manage only one host. See here, one host, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you have 1,000 hosts. How do you manage multiple 1,000 Docker? So that we need an enterprise application. So we need a SWAM, Docker SWAM, or Kubernetes. So SWAM is a one product which is a part of the enterprise, and Kubernetes, which is a part of the open source product again. So your organization, our organization is focusing, everyone is focusing on Kubernetes, not enterprises. We just run Docker, which we use Docker Community Edition to run the container, and then remaining things we get it done through the Kubernetes, because this is more popular, more handy, more featureful, more reliable, more scalable, more stable, and everything compared to this one, enterprise. Are you getting opens?
Yes. So the enterprise would deal with the more one layer of upper abstraction that goes with dealing multiple Docker instances. Now we'd be looking at how a Docker would alone go, right? That's what
only we are learning Docker. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Any other questions?
Yeah, Rajesh, I have one question. This container, is it true that we can run it on virtual machine as well as on host machine?
Yeah, look at the architecture. No, see here. You only find
and
out the answer.
Is true,
Docker needs what?
Yes.
Kernel. Yeah, Docker need what? Kernel. And kernel actually you can find in physical machine as well as virtual machine, because virtual machine you have a kernel itself, right?
So is there any difference, like in production we need to have a virtual machine versus a host machine to run containers?
So in the production, in the nowadays we run virtual machine. We don't run we don't run the application in a virtual machine. We think about it. We run application in a container. Containers run in the virtual machines. So that way we save CPU, RAM, and stuff like that. Because let's say I'll put it in this way. Same calculation, I'll do the same thing. Remember 10% or 30% and 70% formula? Remember?
Yes.
Remember this formula?
And so
this apply for the virtual machine.
Yeah, correct. One more thing. So when we run containers on top of virtual machines, that time is there any role of hypervisor on top of virtual machine?
So virtual machine is managed by hypervisor only, right?
Yeah, the containers are also the Docker.
Container is managed by Docker. Yeah.
Okay, and Docker has nothing to do with hypervisor, is it?
Docker has nothing to do with the hypervisor. Docker needs only kernel. Wherever it's a kernel, you have a things. So basically, yes. See here. So basically, yes, you need a hypervisor. But the only difference here is earlier in a VMs, which was managed by hypervisor, we were running applications. But now we don't run in the VM. We run container in the VM. We don't run application in the VM. So you run multiple container in one VM. Earlier, what we were doing, we were running one application, one container in one VM in a simple way. I'll simplify this word probably. Earlier, what we were doing? Earlier, we were using one user in one VM. Now we are using multiple user in one VM. Multiple user means multiple applications. Understand that? Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
If you liked our Docker session so far, please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.